Hello class and welcome to our second lecture series on microeconomics, and I'm your instructor Jamal Haider. So our preferred course book we already discussed in our first lecture that we will be following the Principles of Economics by Moncrief, and don't worry about the textbook. I will be uploading its chapters, the reading material from time to time. If you want to download all the chapters, I think I already uploaded on the Blackboard. You can download from Blackboard. If not, then don't worry about that. I would be uploading time to time on WeChat group as well. Okay. So meanwhile, I will be maintaining both platform BB and WeChat. So whatever is suitable to you, you can download all the material from whichever platform you can easily access. Okay, today we have to start a new chapter, which is the market forces of supply and demand. So let's dive into this one. So for your introduction, so are you noticing something that when winter hits, so unluckily you are not in Shanghai. So when winter hits in your area, the price of t-shirts and shorts are decreasing. You observe these kind of phenomena? Or the prices of the warm clothes are increasing in winters, right? Or when weather turns warm in those cold areas like New England, every summer, prices of the hotel room rises. Or you can develop your own examples. When summer hits, the prices of ice cream start rising, right? In winter, the price of hot chocolate or coffee, hot beverages start rising. Why is that? What have these, what have, what have in common, characteristics? And that is supply and demand. So supply and demand are the two words that economists use most often. What does it mean? So if you want to think about yourself or think about any event, that how it will impact, think in terms of supply and demand, any kind of concept, right? But remember, economist or economics, it assumes that people are rational. So your example should focus on rationality, which means that everybody go through a systematic process and then, for example, finding out the choices, finding out the prices, and then make the right decision according to its own budget. So you have to follow some steps. So we call this rationality. But normally people are not rational when it comes to day-to-day routine problems and day-to-day transactions. But in like one-time option like buying a house, buying an expensive watch, or getting married, you talk about, you make a rational decisions, right? You go through the options, what will happen, what will go through that one. Okay, if everything is sorted out, okay, let's get married, right? So the economics assume that people are rational. So anything, any transaction or any event happen, think in terms of supply and demand, and you will find out the answer. So supply and demand are the forces that make the market economies work. So if you want to know how an event affect the economy, think first how it will affect demand and supply, like I was telling you. So the basics or core forces of economics are demand and supply. So today we will spend a lot of time to understand the market power of demand. When we understand the demand, then next lecture is going to be supply and law of demand and supply and all this stuff. So then we talk about in our next lecture how the markets they works. So markets and competition, since the chapter name is the market forces of demand and supply, so we'll be just spending a small time on what is marketing. What is market, and then we talk about its types and all this stuff. But we would be talking, or we would be discussing in detail the types of market. There are 4 types of market. We will be talking in details in our coming lectures. So don't worry about if you don't understand the competition and what's going on right now. So just take an introductory understanding, digest the introduction, and then in coming lectures we will be talking about in details about these markets, how they operate, and how the decisions regarding price, quantity, how the decisions are to be made over there. So the term supply and demand refers to the behavior of people as they interact with one another in competitive market. Since these are 2 forces that are working in market, demand and supply, so it has to be free from any intervention, unless you cannot observe the behavior. If you want to observe the behavior, you let it free in any open environment, comfortable environment, right? So if you want to observe the behavior of the people, so let them interact in a market with one another without any intervention. If the government announced the price, okay, the price of the wheat flour is 2 yuan per kg, then it means government has intervened. So people won't interact with one another. They just, if I want to buy flour, I just go pay 2 yuan, 1 kg flour, I come back. So I don't interact actually 100%. So if you want to find out the true interaction, want to find out the behavior of the people, how they interact with one another, so it should be free from any intervention. So that free from intervention, we call this competitive market. So let's talk about the stuff. So a market is a group of buyers and sellers of a particular good or service, right? So in the market, there is a product, somebody wants to buy that and somebody wants to sell it, whether it's a service or a physical good, right? So who creates demand? So buyers determine the demand for the product. So whenever there's a word buyers, it should automatically consider in your mind that I'm talking about, or we are talking about, or the question is talking about, or the textbook is talking about demand, right? So who creates demand? Buyers. And who creates supply? Supplier or producer or seller. So sellers determine the supply. And now one more step further. How many units I want to buy is the demand, right? And how many products in units sellers want to sell in that market on that day is called supply, right? So if you must have this kind of, if this kind of question that, okay, why this store has 30 bags of detergent? Why this store has like 100 units of soap? Why this store has 300 pieces of bread? Why don't 500? Why don't they have 100? It means there is some kind of mechanism over there in the market. If you go to Walmart, you will find out products in units of thousands. But you go to the local store, you will find out in hundreds. Why is that? Right? So it means the quantity I am willing to sell, it means I am the producer or I am the seller and I create supply. Demand means if I go to the market, how many units I want to buy? That creates my demand. Okay? Let's talk about the next slide. So if you understand up till now the concept of market, so please identify the correct answer here. So this is a concept checker. I'm just going to read the question and you focus on the options here. So a market is always characterized by
I think all are correct.
What about you, Mirko?
Market.
Remember the keyword
Well,
here is,
it's always.
right?
Yeah,
Always.
so I would say C, the presence of buyers and sellers, because B is not a free market, it's not a competitive market, but it's because
Well done.
an individual or group of individuals set the price. So, for example, government intervenes in the market.
Exactly. That is also a kind of market, but it's not the case of always,
Yeah.
right? So this type of question I would be asking in the midterm or final, that MCQs, this, because I am not in a favor of those evaluators, those who give you a question and ask you to write down this much material. So I just give you the concept, and I want to test the concept so that you can apply this in real life, right? So you need to pay very careful attention on the wording as well. So market is characterized by, okay, then it is all of above. So a market is always characterized by, it means at least it must be having buyers and sellers and all of the stuff. It is characteristics of the market. So regarding the organization, so markets can take many forms, from highly organized to less organized. So what do we mean by highly organized market? So buyers and sellers meet at specific time and place, where auctioneer helps set the price, in like in agriculture market. Or if you go to the, if you have happened to visit the vegetable market, it normally opens at 4 a.m. So all the vendors, they go to the main market, buy in bulk the vegetables, and then come to their shops and then sell to the public. So that auctioneer market, when they go to the main market over there, we call this highly organized market. Highly organized market means the organization or the decision-making power is having some kind of a, over there is some kind of a body who decide the, some decision over there. For example, what should be the price, right? And what should be the timing of this market? It should be open for 3 hours, 2 hours, 1 hour, or maybe only on Sunday. So it means there is someone else who is deciding the parameters like price, like day, time, place. It means we call this is highly organized market, right?
Just like a Walmart also.
No. Did Walmart tell you that, okay, we will be only serving customers from local area, not from other cities? Everyone can go over there, right?
Please repeat it again, please. I could not hear you clearly.
Okay, you are talking Walmart, right? So does the Walmart tell you that okay, you can visit only male can visit, or only at this price you need to buy this vegetable, and even if the price is high, you are obligated to buy it? Or do or does that mean that the Walmart is not honoring the other customers from other parts of the laos?